Yoshinobu Yamamoto. The question is not if we should get him, but will we actually get him? What is up, guys? This is David from Bronx Banter, back with another off-season episode. This time, we're talking about someone super, super exciting. As you could tell by my demeanor, by everything in this video so far, Yoshinobu Yamamoto. This is a guy that has had a lot of buzz surrounded by him, from Brian Cashman looking into him and actually visited him on a day that he pitched a no-hitter. There's that viral photo that released and came out. If you don't know the know on Yoshinobu Yamamoto, let me just go over the 2023 stats for you this year and what he did over in the MPB. He had 23 games. I think there's a little different because you may have, I think you have like a 6-man starting rotation there. It's a little bit different, but in 23 games, he went 16-6. Obviously, wins aren't everything, but still, that's something to speak to, at least a little bit. He has 2 complete games, not including the 2 no-hitters he had this year. Then he had a shutout as well. I think one of those complete games was a shutout, sorry. And then he has 164 innings pitched, 169 strikeouts. And the biggest thing that's easy to translate and understand is he has a 1.21 ERA. That's correct. That's not a typo, a 1.21 ERA. Now, for those of you that aren't looking at the rest of his stats, I'm gonna just break this down into one single stat in his whole career. So I took his career ERA essentially, and that's the only stat we're going to talk about here. His career ERA, if we were to translate any story to you, is a 1.82 across the 7 seasons, and he's only 25 years old. So not only is he great and he's amazing and he's consistently great and amazing, but he's also very young at 25 years old. And oh yeah, started pitching at 18 years, it looks like. So he also has 7 years of experience under his belt. He's just flat out good, seasoned. Obviously, in the MPB is a little bit different than the major leagues, but still got 7 seasons under his belt at such a young age. Fits in perfectly, like I've been saying in almost a lot of our videos, fits in perfectly with the youth movement. I think you know who also is 25. I believe he's 25. Soto. I'm gonna talk about Soto. I'm gonna find a way to fit Soto in every single episode. Watch, and even beyond that, he's also averaging 7 innings every outing he's had last year, and over 7 strikeouts every outing he had last year as well. So it's not just that he's a good pitcher and he goes a couple of innings and that's it. No, he averages 7 innings an outing. He's had 2 no-hitters. He's had 2 complete games just this year alone. Now, I was really looking for a downside in terms of his production. Now, the only downside, and this is really across all Japanese pitchers, is that obviously their workload is slightly different because they have a different way of going about their starting rotation. So he has less games than like maybe Cole, or like really like an average pitcher, which is around like 30 starts a season, which is what you would want in terms of consistency and longevity in a season. But even beyond that, he's shown that he's had longevity in the games that he's played, like I've mentioned. Now, the only other downside is that how much are the Yankees willing to pay? And not only are we going to have to pay a lot for him, we're going to be competing with a handful of other teams as well. Now, there's news that came out that the Yankees are willing to pay more than what they paid Masahiro Tanaka, which was a good, I think it was like 7 years, 155 mil. I think he could get 7 years, maybe what a Rodon contract, or maybe 7 years, 200, maybe. That's probably the max, I would think. I really don't know. Because you also got to think that these numbers aren't going to be perfectly translated into the MLB. Not only from the higher workload, and obviously that's probably going to be managed or taken into consideration, but not just from the higher workload. We also have just the skill set in the MLB is going to be much different, much more difficult. But we see how players like, and I don't want to completely compare him to Shohei, but players like Shohei come in and they figure it out. But you also got to consider like I said, the other teams that are willing to compete and that are contending to compete for a contract and in this bidding war. You got teams like the Rangers that need pitching. They got DeGrom that's hurt. You got Scherzer that's hurt. I think he's got 1 more year still. You got Montgomery that's going to be a free agent for them. So you don't know if they're going to want to re-sign Montgomery or go for Yamamoto. You also got the Dodgers that really their pitching has just been obliterated. You see in the postseason that their only steady pitcher in Kershaw is not doing good in the postseason. So they're going to be looking to improve their pitching somehow this offseason. So the Yankees are not only willing to pay more, but they better be if they're going to want to get him, because they're also going to be competing with a few teams. And these are two teams that are willing to spend, but these aren't the only teams that are willing to spend and that are going to be going after them. I don't know who else, but it's going to be a bidding war for sure. I think the question is, are the Yankees willing? I know they said they're willing to spend, but the question is not if we should get him, but will we actually get him? From some of the ways that the Yankees have moved in the offseason in previous years, they've gone for cheaper options, more affordable options, more, I want to say low risk, high reward, but that ends up being a high risk, high reward because they end up not working out. And then we don't have any other options out there. Look at Frankie Montas with their injuries. And right now, Rodon, unfortunately, was a high risk, high reward, and it hasn't been a high reward so far. You got them with spring training invitees. We can't be having that again this year. We got to get surefire guys. And I know Yamamoto is not necessarily surefire, but even if you add 1 whole point to his ERA, you're getting a pitcher that's pitching a 2.21. Add a whole 2 points to his ERA, more than double his ERA, and you got a guy at a 3.2 ERA, which is very serviceable, especially for his first year. Look at Kodai Senga. He's a Rookie of the Year contender. Really strong, really, really good. He's even in the Cy Young conversation, and he's a rookie. So I could see Yamamoto doing even better than Senga and falling into that same role. Mets is another team that I could see them trying to go for Yamamoto. Saying that they're trying to rebuild in the year 2025. Yamamoto's young enough where they could see him. And here's another thing for the Yankees. Yamamoto's young enough where even if you don't contend in the next year, he's still probably hasn't even reached his prime heading into the following year, in the year that we should be getting Soto. So, yeah, like I said, Yamamoto's a must. I don't think anyone's going to disagree with me to get Yamamoto. It's just a matter of a fact of whether or not we think we could get him. I'm curious to think what you guys have to say. Do you think we're going to get him? For the select few that may think we shouldn't get him, let me know why you think we shouldn't get him. Should we get other starting pitching options? Montas has been in conversation. Montgomery has been in conversation. King is rising to be a starting pitcher, so that's an option as well. I'm curious to see what you guys have to say. If we were to get Yamamoto, our starting pitching rotation would be amazing. I know I don't want to say this again because we said this last year and looked what happened, but we would have one of the best starting rotations. You have Cole, you have Yamamoto, you have Rodon. That right there in the postseason is unbelievable. We keep it rocking. We got King. You trade away Schmidt for some pieces, maybe offloading some contracts if needed. You still got Cortez. That's very good. Now, okay, Cortez is not reliable. Let's say you still keep Schmidt. You got Schmidt in there as number 5. I feel like there's some other guys I'm missing. Brito and Vasquez, I think, could be serviceable in the 5th spot. Maybe more of a depth piece. I don't want to rely on them, but there's that as well. But man, that postseason, if we can make the postseason, that starting rotation is going to be stupid good. And even if Rodon is not good in the postseason, put in King. I think he could fit in great in the number 3 hole in the starting rotation. Yamamoto 2nd. So again, the question is not if we should, but if the Yankees will. Now, if we could, we 100% could. But if the Yankees will, I'm leaning towards they will. But I also wouldn't be shocked if they didn't, because you got other teams to compete against as well. I'm interested. Again, let me know in the comments below. And I'm also curious to know what you guys think is going to be the contract that we're going to have to throw up, or we should throw up for him. I'm thinking a 7-year, $200 million. I don't even know what that AAV looks like. I just spit that out. Again, don't hold me to the fire for that. But let me know what you think is a good contract that you'd want to see and give up for Yamamoto. Let me know. Let's continue the conversation down in the comments below. And thank you so much for the support, as always. Hey, what is up, guys? If you liked this episode, please make sure to like it, comment down below, and subscribe. And watch what YouTube suggests would be a great video for you. You're not going to want to miss all the latest Yankees news and topics going on. Listen, Judge wants you to subscribe. The Martian wants you to subscribe, so make sure you do. And until next time, peace and be blessed.